All right. I should be live. I just realized something though. Why is my camera not showing? Wonder if I gotta plug it in. But you know what? I ain't got no time for that. I gotta go to bed super early. Um, who's be chilling in here? Can you guys hear me okay? Testing one, two. Can you guys hear me? I'm going to be painting while I get some audio confirmation. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna do some rearranging of my files. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I wonder if yeah, actually I wonder if but yeah, if anyone can hear me, I just need to know for sure so I can make sure I don't have to restart the stream. But I can find out for myself by just watching the stream temporarily on my screen while I'm just chilling. Oh, it looks like some people can hear me. Hey, what's up? Okay, great. Thank you, Beantown. It's helpful. It's not. I normally don't um, worry about it too much because it's usually pretty consistent. But for whatever reason, right now, because I did a scheduled one, I was like, oh, maybe. And then my webcam wasn't working because I'm like, what? Uh-oh. Is this a bust stream? Should I start over? Which is always unfortunate. But it seems like this is not a bust stream. You are audible. Beantown, me too. Oh yeah, I'm glad you guys made it to a live one too. This is already partially done because I just got done with my class, bros. And after my class, I usually do like a little live demo after the reviewing, and so this is kind of picking up from there. So anyway, how's everyone doing this evening? How's everyone's Friday looking for them? And where's everyone from? I mean, we already know Beantown is from Beantown, you know, the place where all beans originated, including Mr. Bean. But what about everyone else? Where's everyone else from? I'm always curious to the folks from around the world. You know what I mean? Who be chilling in here? Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're super excited that I'm streaming. The one who schmucks, the one who smokes. Is that what it is? The one who smokes or the one who schmucks? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure how you would pronounce that. Southeast Michigan, USA, close to Detroit. Noise, Detroit, Michigan, huh? Vegas, sadly. Battle. What's wrong with Vegas? Mexico? Nice. Now I'm curious, like, what's wrong with Vegas? Why are you hating on Vegas, homie? Vegas is fine. Actually, let me move some stuff around. I actually don't like this orientation of my windows. This looks better. Okay, cool. Reno. Tight. How's Reno doing these days? I haven't been to Reno since I think I was a child. How's Reno, man? Is it looking all right? Is it still just a desert town? I think I remember it being mostly a desert town. Most of Nevada is that, right? Like most of Nevada is just a desert. Uh, smoke. Smock's like an art apron thing. Oh, okay. Let's see what's up. Yeah, when you're visiting. I see. Yeah, it's great when you're visiting, but when you're living there, you're not too happy about it. I have some friends who love it out there. I have a friend. He actually works in the biz. He works on the game Duelist, which is kind of a popular indie game. I think it's still an indie game. Maybe it got bigger. I don't imagine it's bigger than what it was from last time I remember. But I think his company is working on some other stuff. Anyway, long story short, um, he lives out in Vegas, loves it. He goes out shooting all the time. he actually like is a guy like so he comes from concept art and he designed weapons and characters and concept art, but then he started to like design actually real weapons, you know, like truly like real weaponry, and then from there he started selling it, like the attachments and stuff, and got like a really big business going off with that. And I think he just kind of took off and moved to Vegas, doing some of that still. I think, I'm not sure if that's still true, but I know he's a big gun guy. I know Vegas can be known for that because it's just desert. There's like a place in Vegas where you can just go and shoot guns, of any kind. I believe like you could shoot like a rocket launcher at one place, which is insane. But I want to do that. So when I was out in Vegas, I wanted to do that. There just wasn't any time, man. We were partying too hard. But maybe next year. Maybe next year when we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what's going on here. Unseasonably warm. High desert. No snow in the Sahara yet. Yeah, I'm from the high desert. I don't know if people know this. Okay, fun fact. I'm I'm a military kid, so I moved around a lot, but I used to live in a place called Barstow, California, which is in the high desert. And it's because my dad was stationed at a place called Fort Irwin, for those of you who might know anything about that. It's fun facts, facts that be fun, facts that are enjoyable. But yeah, I loved living out there mainly because I made some of my childhood friends out there, and it's been wonderful, to kind of just have like a very uh, you know interesting upbringing by living out in the high desert in Barstow, California. But I used to go to Vegas a lot because Barstow is so close. It's like about a couple hours drive. So my mom was like always wanting to go to gamble. You know what I mean? And so I'm very familiar with like the high desert, the Nevada, greater Nevada area. Yeah, we're planning on driving through there for family vacation, so maybe I'll stop by. Yeah, just give me your address and your social security number and all that good information, and yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh, look at people coming in, man. Thanks for coming in, guys. If you guys have any questions or of any kind, feel free to start asking them. I'm more than happy to answer some questions, if you guys would like me to. Let's see what's going on here. Woo, Barry White, and overtime on a Friday. Yeah, I'm only going to be hanging out for about 30 minutes, so probably in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to bounce out of here. But I've made a commitment to try to like at least show up to these streams, to be part of the community yet again, and be aggressively about the community to help bring that positive vibes back out into the art world. And part of that strategy is to show up at least once a day. And then once I'm pretty committed to that, like I'm already like thinking of like, okay, well, maybe there's better times where I can spend maybe like an hour or maybe 2 hours hanging out, or maybe I can do like a different kind of format. Maybe I should do some fun stuff. Like, I used to do this thing when I'd live stream. I did it yesterday a little bit where I wouldn't start anything. I'll just let you guys kind of art direct me. That's a lot of fun. So, I'm really interested in doing some of that too. So we'll see. We'll see. Whoa, this guy arts. I do art. Not too crazy. Back in the 50s, they were setting off nukes outside the city. Yep. Hi from Portland. Ooh, my boss lets me draw after I finish my work, so I'm in a small room in the back of the warehouse watching the stream. Kudos to your boss, dude. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for work? Where are you working at right now? That you have to like hide in the back rooms to be able to do the art stuff. It is looked down upon to do art inside this warehouse, my son. But at the back room, you can draw whatever thine seeks to draw. But in the warehouse, you are not nay, forbidden to draw or do anything artistic within the vicinity of these chia pets that we saw outside this warehouse. Anyway, I'm curious to what you do. If you stop, first drinks on me. Great. Yeah, where are you at, man? Hit me up on Instagram. Maybe that is a thing that can actually happen at some point. Truly. I'm not above it all. I love hanging out with fellow artists. It truly is enjoyable. It's by far one of my favorite things. That's what has inspired me to get back into it, because I went to Lightbox this past weekend. And so now I'm like, dude, okay, gonna draw every day again. I mean, it's not like I wasn't drawing before every day, but like just draw to put out to the world, and then also start to stream and hang out with people yet again. It's kind of where I'm at. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, who are your art inspirations and what got you into art in the first place? Well, I I started off doing art because I saw that it was something you can do when I was going to college. When I first started college, I actually went for programming because I'm like half black, half Korean. So I figured that the Korean side would kick in and I would just be a programming genius. Then I realized I was racist and I was racist and that it was very hard to just get into programming from no skill. And so I started to kind of like second guess that. But then I saw people drawing a lot and drawing like Dragon Ball Z characters. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize you can just like draw for like for money. And it kind of clicked. It's like, wait a minute, of course you do. And I thought about all the movies and the TV shows that I can think of that would require somebody to draw cool stuff for them. Like basically, I discovered concept art, and I was like, bro, concept art sounds so fun. So I just switched over to do concept art, and then my art inspirations are, every and all artist that is awesome on this planet. If you can think of an artist, that's probably an inspiration of mine. You know, but to kind of answer that question more full-heartedly, one of my favorite artists that I really would constantly look back to was Ryan Meinerding and Charlie Wen, and then I also was a big fan of classical art painters like Sargent and Leyendecker. Like these people really stood out to me. They really spoke to me and my sensibilities of what I believe is great about artwork. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've been doing this shit for a while, dude, and so I'm inspired by all these awesome people. I met like literally like dozens of some of my favorite artists in the world, took pictures with them, and it was kind of cool to have them feel the same way about me. It's bonkers, but that's why I love this industry. Everyone's so kind to one another. So I kind of got back into it a little bit. I'm like kind of like, retreading the steps of my past self a bit here. It's been great though. Come back to New York. I would love that, bro. Oh yeah, I'm out here in Colorado. Michael, where in Colorado are you? I'm actually. It's funny that you kind of said that. I mean, I did ask where people are from, but it's kind of funny you said that just serendipitously. I literally was talking to my students about how I plan, because again, Lightbox has just truly inspired me. I'm kind of thinking about reinvigorating something I used to do a lot, which is sketch groups and stuff, and just finding a place to hang out, and we just draw and chat and argue about movies and video games, as most artists typically do when they get together. And yeah, just start making some more, like, art homies. You feel? I have a lot of people that I know already who are artists that work out in business, like businesses out here. Um, so it would be cool to kind of get more and more homies. What's up? What's up? Oh, Michelangelo, one of my students, is in here. Good to see you. Long time no see, man. He was just in the class. We were just in class together. I told him to come hang out, though. I was like, yeah, you should come hang out and chill. Yeah, Kyle is also in the vicinity. We both hang out quite often. Me and his brother and some of our close dev friends. We're out here in Colorado. Yeah, man. I'm not sure if you follow me on Instagram, Michael, but if you're interested in that, yeah, just hit me up. And then I'll let you know. I'll give you the deets. We'll go sketching, bro. Some of my other students actually live out here too. So it could be cool to start getting them going again. I just need to try to figure out where, just because I'm nowhere near, well, that's not true. I'm not close though to Denver, and Denver is kind of a good central spot for most places. So I do feel that if I was going to host some sketch groups, Denver be the place, somewhere in Denver. You know, maybe something off of Santa Fe or something. Could be fun. Could be fun. You know where we should meet up, Kyle? Don's. We should have sketch groups at Don's. That's what we're gonna do. Sketch groups. I have no idea where Durango-ish is. So, Jason says my daughter is half Chinese. When she was 15 and started gaming, she thought she was racist because she only wanted to play against Koreans. She considered them more challenging. That's not racist. That's accurate. She wanted to challenge the best. And, well, as a consequence, the best people in gaming are Koreans. Your daughter knows what's good, dude. She wants to have no disillusion of what it means to be an awesome freaking gamer, bro. She's like, there only can be one that I must challenge. It's the people from Korea. I mean, it's to think about it as like let me kind of say some things about this. Like to think that it's like kind of a race thing is kind of it makes sense to think this way on the surface, but if you also just look at the cultural purpose, like the environmental purposes, Korea specifically, like is like it that nation like harbored this idea of like e-gaming and like esports and stuff like this. Like I used to live there, and they would have a computer cafe. They called them PC bongs. Literally every block, there would be one. And I think recently their internet infrastructure is like that of unlike any other nation. So they are very much a culture of gaming and like internet, like like you hear stories about like people who like sit in the floor or so sit in their chair, their gaming chair, like 48 hours straight playing like a Korean MMO, get up to use the restroom for the first time in 48 hours and get a heart attack, right? Because their body's like, wait, what, we're live? What the fuck? Ah, and then killed the poor guy. You know what I mean? So when you have a nation, which its societal culture is like driven, like it was one of the first real big nations that on national TV they would show like StarCraft competitions. So it's less about like okay, just Korean people have it in it. Like they got that gamer genes in them. No, like their whole society and environment is truly nurturing to that, you know? And so until other nations catch up, it's hard to tell for sure, right? For instance, in America, it's not quite there yet, but it's getting close, and you are seeing some competency now that we can actually compete at some meaningful level. The same can be said about like sports like soccer, where if you look in America, how we treat soccer is kind of like just literally just as a hobby, as a, like kind of a nation. But everywhere else in the world, especially like some nations, like including Korea, they take it very seriously, and that's why specifically men's soccer we tend to never really show up as much as you would think, even though we have a lot more opportunity to hire and bring on some of the best and greatest. You know, so it's more of like a societal thing that might be driving some of that. But yeah, man, like I lived there, and it was wild how crazy they were engaged in that. And I have some of my favorite gaming memories playing in these PC cafes. It was so much fun. Yeah. In a nutshell, maybe your daughter is very racist. So, just joking. Yeah, yeah, your daughter's racist. You should get her committed. Um, Canceled. Anyway, um, you asked what I do. I process and clean the machine that Intel uses to build microchips. Oh, that's kind of dope, dude. Drawings you have before your workshop. Is there a way your Discord followers could have a place to group draw? I'm not sure. You guys can always form your own little hangouts, though. When Live Life was online during the dark time of COVID, it was a cool online group sketching website everybody was using. Would you ever consider doing something like that? Yeah, man. I think it was like Magma something or Mag something. I remember that. That was actually super cool. It's pretty interesting. Absolutely. I would consider doing that. Absolutely. There's actually some apps that are like that that I think would be cool to do kind of together as a community, but I don't know the names of these things. But yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it. All right, let's see what we're gonna do here. Got about like 10 more minutes before I should call it quits. Hope you guys are gonna have a good weekend, man. I'm excited for the weekend. I do definitely feel exhausted these days. But these streams have actually been very enjoyable to me. It's been truly it's been truly a pleasant, past few days to just come hang out with my peoples. It's been just like a great week in general, to be honest. Like I've been having a great time hanging out with people and talking with people, and interacting with my peoples. So it's just been just great all around. I'm very grateful. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate it deeply. But let's see what I can make happen here. Trying out new processes, trying to evolve my abilities. I think what I might want to do too here. I think this is what I want to do. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Bum bum bum. All right. Making them curves dance, bro. Gotta get them curves to be dancing, brethren. Oh shit. All right. I did not expect that to be so loud. The windows. It's so loud in my ear. It scared the shit out of me for a second. Let me go back to the chat in just a second. Let me stay focused, though. To be great at art, one must stay 100% focused at every single second of the day. Whenever I make food, I'm focused on the boiling of the oil. When I'm about to flip the little sausage, I'm focused on the sausage flips. I think an artist must always be in a state of hyper focus to ever achieve excellence. I'm just joking. So, one thing that I will say about this process that I'm doing is that I'm trying to like find a way to kind of paint neutrally as well as like having dynamic lighting. And I've done this before with some great success in other capacities. So I'm just challenging it in more and more different ways. Because to me, it's like a really valuable tool to be able to have like kind of a neutral lighting and then adjusting it accordingly later. I'm all about those efficiencies, you know what I mean? But right now I'm trying to see how far I can go. And I'm realizing that still local values, having those sorted out independently, more flat is probably still the best way to do this. Putting some ambient lighting in there is not too bad. So I'm like right now I'm like looking at some 3D artwork that I really like the way they lit their artwork, and so I'm kind of trying to emulate that, but 2D and just hand painting it. And so I'm kind of like at a loss of like maybe this isn't exactly the way I would do this, but that's why I study, that's why I practice, that's why I challenge myself to figure this stuff out. You guys might be looking at this and be like, dude, this shit looks great. And I appreciate that. But I had some goals that I'm trying to hit. You know what I mean? Try to hit them goals. I wonder, I wonder, just thought about this. I wonder if I can do the reverse as well. That might be a good way to do this too. Because I was only focused on lighting. Ooh, yeah. But maybe putting in more aggressive shadows in here could help too. Her face is too wild with, like, she has too many different values. That's why that's just not working out great. But this seems like it could work out fine. All right, let me go back to the chat for a second while I kind of make some minor adjustments here. All right, yeah. So I think I would still need to kind of come back to this painting. Yeah, I still might have to come back and do some hand painted stuff. So let's see how that would work out. Let me make some more adjustments to the curves. I'll do that above. Anyway, let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh my gosh, there's so much written. I have missed a lot. Hey Anthony, could you give me some advice from your experience? I'm studying the basics of drawing as perspective, anatomy, but I stagnate. I feel that I'm not I'm assuming consistent or constant. The best advice I can give you is to pick something that you want to try to achieve in terms of your art. Like, what do you want to actually do, artistically speaking? Like, what do you want to try to do well? Like, do you want to be a good character designer? Do you want to be a good environment designer? And then just try to do a character and try to do an environment. And then after you've done it, then retroactively, like, kind of look back at it and see what you're really failing at. And then what I would encourage is that when you do that, actually don't just pay attention to one thing, pay attention to all things. There could be a lot of things that you might feel very frustrated with about your work. And so just jot all that down and kind of have a little bit more focus on what you're trying to learn. I find that people are just aimlessly practice a bunch of stuff, because practicing one or two things independently of like the scope of why you're practicing them can lead you down a path of like productive procrastination. Because sure, you're learning how to paint and draw, but you're not like learning it in the context of what it means to be a good character designer. You're learning it in the context of just like, you should practice anatomy. But when you do a bad drawing and the anatomy is part of the reason why it's bad, and you see that like you had a really hard time getting the anatomy good around like the gestures and the proportions, then it becomes more clear, at least from a glance, right, that you might want to work on your gestures more, right? Versus just randomly studying how to draw a head better. Maybe your heads are okay for the level you're at, but your gestures are garbage. And you just wouldn't have realized that until you started to attempt the gestures, And a great way to kind of quantify this is, I always tell people, you should reference. You should always be looking at examples of people who do that kind of stuff that you want to do, and just analyzing why they're better at it than you are, and try your best to get there. Because there's going to be moments where you're going to feel a certain way about your work, right? You're going to feel that you're so far away from your goal, right? Whatever that might be, you're so far away, it's almost impossible to get there, like how much better these people are. But you're going to be closer than you were when you didn't do that. That's kind of the point I'm making. So highly, highly recommend, set a very specific goal of what you want to try to achieve. Try to achieve it, do your best, and you'll be surprised how much more progress you make that way, versus trying to be perfect. Like, I am going to study all the things that must be learned. I am going to climb every mountain. I'm going to see every vista. I am going to train in every martial art that has ever existed, and I will then be prepared for this journey. I think that's just not realistic. And also, if you think about all the people who actually achieved kind of the goals they wanted, the most successful ones typically just learned on the job, you know? They learned kind of like doing the thing. And I feel like that's probably the safest way to truly do it, you know? And so I would be a little bit more aggressive is all I'm saying about studying and practicing, homie. I will say that I love painting in Photoshop, but I've gotten a little bit spoiled by painting on my iPad a lot. Like I actually have to come and actually be more accurate with my blending. Like what? I can't just use the blend brush, bro. Can't just fucking smudge shit away and just let the blend gods get me to the finish line, bro. Some bullshit, bro. Yeah. Some of these blending brushes and these softwares that I use from like Procreate to Infinite Painter, like it's god tier. Like I'm like, damn, dude. One of these kids these days could just have some soft ass paintings, dude. Paintings be soft, bro. Anyway, let me keep reading. I realize I do got to get going soon, so let me see if I can answer a couple more questions. Let me see if I can answer some questions. My daughter started the first. Well, I skipped a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch. Hi, Teacher AJ. I hope you're all having a great time. I'm really happy to see the art community get back up and again after the AI scare incident. Yeah. If you were starting from scratch right now with all the AI weirdness, how do you think that would affect how you do your art and concept work? I have no idea, to be frank. I would like to pretend that I would be this person of prestige. Um, but what I can say is that there were really extraordinary tools even when I started. And I've always been kind of focused on like, what are the fundamental skills though? Like, what is like the thing that I ought to really understand? Because to me, I am a technician at heart. I am incredibly, I value incredibly skill, like being great at something. And I think I might have flirted with the AI stuff if I was an enthusiast, if I was just starting out. I'm sure that would be the case. But I would probably have jumped off of it knowing that it's a tool that anybody can fucking pick up and do. And then if I want to have any true value in this world, I probably should not commit to this tool. You know? I should commit to the things that will really make me stand out. So, example, photo bashing and using aggressive amounts of tools like 3D. I know how to do this stuff because I think it's important. And I feel like it would be the same for me with AI at some level when AI becomes a little bit more legally sound and a little bit less of a liability. I'm sure there will be a version of the AI that I too would start to use as a professional. I don't know what that will look like. I don't know when that will happen. But even still, I'm out here painting, boys. Look at this. Look at me painting, boys. Look at the painting. And I've only doubled down on this skill because I'm realizing this skill will become more and more novel, and only the best will truly survive. And I want to be amongst them. So that's what kind of made me get back into. I actually been doing a lot of studying and practicing behind closed doors for many years, learning all sorts of ways to get better at this stuff, working on my own projects. In fact, I always keep, plugging the game that I'm working on. You guys feel free to go to the website, join the Discord, or you can try the demo. But I'm always trying to do something that I feel people have a hard time doing. And so the next big thing that I'm noticing is just game dev in general, like just starting and completing a project like a video game, with very limited resources is incredibly, I mean, let's be frank, even with all the resources, it's very hard to make a very compelling video game. And so that's the next thing. And that could take me, who knows how long to really get to a mastery of that skill, like true game dev. I work in the game industry, but it's always as a indirect result of different positions. But what happens if I'm fully in charge of a lot of the big decisions? Can I still do it? And I feel confident that is the case. And I may very well be another beacon or voice in this community like the game art community and helping people navigate and get to their goals and dreams and ambitions when it comes to game development. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So but I don't know. I don't know. I would like to believe that I would be this person. Like, I think the constants are still true, that I am a technician at heart. I like to be technically good at stuff. So I don't think that would have changed under this new paradigm shift that we've seen. And I'm very optimistic too. There's a lot of people who are very nihilistic for a good reason. I think this is a very good reason to be, but it doesn't do any good. You know, at the end of the day, it's still like, it's a bummer, sure, but you're only going to keep yourself bummed out still if you keep keeping yourself bummed out. So I try not to keep myself bummed out. All right. Yo, what up, AJ? I'm going to skip through some of these. Love your stuff. Even as a 3D student. Thank you. Thank you for all the loves, homie. Yeah, I switched to Corel Painter because I hate Adobe's business practices, but the blending brush in Corel is so nice. Yeah, I hear that a lot. People really give Adobe a lot of shit, but let me give you guys a hot take. And I think a lot of my friends don't have this take, and I don't know why, but I get it. You know, like, super corporate. I think the latest AI stuff is probably more justifiably something to be complaining about. But like, I remember when Adobe decided to go subscription model, a lot of my colleagues and homies were just like really fucking aggro about that. They're like, what the fuck? You know, why are they going subscription model? You know? And I remember when that happened, I was kind of like on the opposite side of that. I was like, no, that makes sense. You know? And they're like, no, it doesn't. It makes no sense. Like, freaking people want a tool. They don't have to keep paying like $50 a month for this fucking tool and all this stuff. And I was like, well, listen, I do also think that it's kind of a bummer to imagine how my career has been incredibly successful for all these years. And I only had to pay once for this software, right? Now, if you start thinking about it like a large companies, like they do the same thing. They just pay once for like 20 seats and bada bing, bada boom, we're out of here, you know? And some of these projects that I've worked on and some of the companies that I know use Adobe products make billions of dollars. And this tool isn't, maybe Adobe is not this way anymore. It's pretty popular. You know, most people are content creators, it seems like these days. But what I'm trying to say is it's kind of a niche tool, you know? It's not like a hammer and a nail, you know, like something that most people might need to use. It's very specific. And I remember I made the same claim about ZBrush. I thought even ZBrush had it even worse because ZBrush, it was like a flat rate forever, no matter how many upgrades. At least Photoshop was kind of like, all right, you know what? You got to buy this version, you know? And I was like, bro, like, people made like the Avengers franchise using ZBrush, and ZBrush is like giving the shit for like $300 one time, you know? So if you do the math, like ILM just needs to buy like, again, 20 seats for, let's say, $300. It's like, what's that, $6,000? Okay. How's that even close to fair? And even you start thinking, well, what if they did like a revenue share thing? It's like, well, that could be nice, you know? But then it's like, you know, like maybe it could start becoming a thing where they would use less and less of it. It's like, why would I give this tool like fucking 7% of my thing? Like, it's kind of like what Unity was trying to do with like per download. Like, they're trying to do some weird back-ass way to like get more money from their users. So submodel makes sense because unlike Netflix, where you're just paying like $12 a month for hopefully good content, I'm actually using these tools and it's actually making me more money. And I want my tool to only get better. And when you pay them a monthly fee, that does make their tool better and better and better. that's why, like with Procreate, I am very nervous because they're not a subscription model, and a lot of people love their tools, and it's really great, and they're always trying to like innovate, but it doesn't move quickly. And how big are these innovations? And there are just going to be competitors, including Adobe, that might make a tool that is just gonna be better. Like Adobe Fresco is just around the corner, and it might just be a little bit better than Procreate, and more users are going to switch. There is a market cap that Procreate can make. You know, there is only so many people who want to draw and paint and willing to spend, what is it, like $12 for this software to get it full feature. That's going to meet its limit. And I brought up Unity for a reason, because Unity is in the same boat. Unlike Unity, Unreal has other ways of making money. Fortnite. So they can take some chances with Epic. Epic can take some chances with Unreal. And also, people do use Unreal in a real capacity and make quadrillions of dollars, you know? And so Unity makes a lot of its cash from kind of some of this stuff, but it's not nearly at the scale. And Unity isn't, again, game development in itself is not mainstream, like what people do a lot. Games are mainstream, but not making games. And I feel the same is true for Procreate. So if you're really attached to Procreate, mark my words, give it a few more years, but maybe even 5 or so, you might start seeing them make some bizarre decisions, especially if they like died on this hill of like, we'll never go subscription. In my mind, I'm like, bro, go subscription, dude. It's fine. Like, you guys deserve it. You have made a great art tool. I am more than happy to give you guys like $3 a month to, like, you know, pay all your employee salaries and maintain that, give them bonuses, build a better tool, and move more rapidly, hire more engineers. You know what I mean? Like, I went to Lightbox this year. I didn't stop by the Procreate booth at all. Not because I don't support the tool. I think it's a great tool. I already have Procreate. I've been having Procreate. You know, if I go there, they're like, hey, look, we could do this new thing. Cool, man. Oh, I can't wait for the update. Like, they already got my money. You know what I mean? So I remember when that happened with Adobe, I was just like, bro, that's not a bad business strategy, especially for tools that we love. I'd rather spend that money on this than I would on like a Netflix show or streaming service. You know what I mean? Similar to that. So keep that in mind. And for what it's worth, going back to ZBrush, they eventually went submodel, and they had to actually sell their or they got bought out by Maxon, you know? And guess what? ZBrush is thriving. It's back in business. I actually was predicting that ZBrush would go out of business if they didn't go sub, and they didn't go sub, so they're not out of business. They're still in the game, boys, you know? So keep that in mind, man. Like, a lot of artists will say these things, can you believe it? You know, and some respectable and professional artists, close friends of mine, and I debate them on this all the time. Okay. But I just don't see why it's such a hot topic either. I get it if it's hard to afford. I think that sucks too. But thank God there are tools that are managed by smaller teams like Procreate. I mean, I don't know if that's still true for Procreate, but Infinite Painter for sure is managed by a very small team that can get away with not having a submodel for quite a while, because it's just like it's not a big team. They don't need hundreds of sale a month or something like that, right? They can thrive off of, hundreds of thousands of sales in a month. They can thrive off thousands of sales. Okay. It's not a big deal, unless they want to buy yachts and stuff like that, then maybe they do want to push it. But that's my rant about that. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that enlightens you more. Made a live stream. What's up? Good to see you. Hold on. I wish other programs had a fade function. I always miss that in the most. Yeah, man. I hear you, dude. Tools be doing cool stuff, and it'd be cool if they all shared the same cool stuff, right? I'm with you, bro. Um, yeah, again, no shade to any of these tools. I like Procreate a lot. And I love ZBrush. I used it for many years. And I still, like, if you had to put a gun to my head and ask me what I can only use one painting software forever and always, I mean, it still will be Photoshop. Photoshop is my tool, my weapon of choice. It's just so powerful. Oh my gosh. That's my alarm clock, me yawning. Oh yeah. It's like almost 11 for me. Listen, I didn't get to all the questions and comments. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm going to be doing these dailies. Eventually, I might even be able to put down a time that it will consistently show up, but maybe only until my life be consistent. Right now, it's wild card with all the things been going on in my life. But I do appreciate you guys all hanging out, having a great conversation as always. Good old ranting. Thanks for this though. Changed my perspective. Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I think that some things probably should be okay with just a one-time purchase, right? And I do think that tools that are very lucrative, like the Adobe Suite, should truly have a indie or like novice or amateur entry level kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they should try to like be more encouraging of that for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I don't think like if you get a single tool, it is pretty much like a Netflix subscription. So it's not like bonkers expensive, but I mean it adds up, man. I get it. And maybe they should just do like an opt-in, like you buy it once and you're good, but you don't get any updates or any of the upgrades features because they upgrade these softwares because it's a subscription model now. They upgrade them pretty aggressively, you know? So, I mean, there is a universe in which I can see that happening as well. I get it. But I also think that people need to realize that if you look at the video game industry, for instance, the reason why so many people do these kind of these monetization strategies that on the surface we're all kind of like, we don't like it. We feel like it detracts from the larger game. You know, it feels unfortunate. But if you look at one example, like World of Warcraft, it's still a live game because there's just enough people, there's just enough concurrent players who put about, I believe it's $15 a month, still to this day, that puts the bread on that table, you know? And it might be one of the bigger money makers for that company to stay alive just in general, you know? So they can take chances and try new games. And they're trying to do that again with other games and with some success and with some failure. But it's because it is a great way to create stability within your large corporate empire. And that's a consequence of large teams, you know? So it's kind of a double-edged blade, isn't it? One of the only solutions that I can think of is just, you got to just make much smaller teams, and you got to make much like less ambitious risks. So it is a bit of a challenge. I don't think many indie studios, small groups of people, can make big games overnight. It takes a lot of time. It truly does. Like the big games. But if you want to be a game company that just makes smaller experiences, like sure, there may be medium-sized or intermediately sized. Sure, I think that can be maintained with very small groups of people. But yeah, when you're thinking of like MMOs and like large-scale gotcha MMORPG games, like that requires literally hundreds and thousands, if not hundreds of millions of unique art assets, then yeah, dude. Fuck. It's hard to know how to solve that problem. Anyhow, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you guys a lot. I'm gonna go to bed. My son has a Rubik's Cube competition coming up. I want to be rested for that. So thanks again. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. I'm taking the weekends off. Cheers.